Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week. We now turn on to the next segment, and this is the App of the Week. This week we're talking about Inure or Inure, I-N-U-R-E. And here's the demonstration of Inure. Hi, for episode 185 App of the Week, this is demonstrating an app called Inure or Inure, I-N-U-R-E. Inure or Inure is an app manager, and I really like it. It does have an unlocker that if you want additional features or the pro features, it will set you back by $7.49. I have purchased the unlocker, and that's how much I like it, because this will actually show you what apps are tracking you. You could go into an app info and look at what it does to you. I'll show you all of that once we get started. I'm demonstrating this on an older phone in the way of my Pixel 4 running Android 13 and TalkBack 14.x. Before we get started, however, let's go ahead and hear what the description of the app is so you can determine as to whether or not this warrants your time. I'll now tap on the About and we'll listen to the description of the app from the developer right here from the Play Store.
About this app, heading. Google Play Store. Inure App Manager Trial Details.
I'll now put my finger down and let's hear what the description says.
An elegant and intuitive apps manager for all rooted and non-rooted devices. Inure is a powerful open-source applications manager and analyzer with a good-looking and easy-to-use interface. This app can be used to manage all apps installed in the device. In addition to that, Inure App Manager allows you to access all the core components of the app including services, activities, etc. and modify them on the go. All that combined with a gorgeous and pleasing interface, with every tap accompanied by fluid animations. Features. Organized list of all apps. Usage stats of all apps. Create notes for specific apps. Terminal emulator with commands manager. Sensors information. Scan for trackers in any app. Inbuilt device information panel. App information panel. Uninstall, disable, force close user, system app with and without root. Dedicated apps component viewer and editor. Grant or deny permissions for any app. Block apps trackers. Root and Shizuku API support. Get information about any app, even uninstalled ones. Extra capabilities. Audio player. Preview any TTF format font. Image viewer. Inbuilt text viewer and editor. Markdown viewer. HTML support. Pretty code highlight support for some programming languages. XML pretty printing and highlighting. SVG viewer support. UI features. Full screen with status and navigation bar. Beautiful unique interface. Smooth animations for every element of the app. Interconnected interface by icons and shared animations. Universal accent color picker. Ability to change font style of the app. Rounded corner support. Pleasing colored shadows for every layer of the app. Glowing app icons effect. Unique switch style. Native theme engine to support all dark and light modes. Emerald, slate, gray and high contrast dark modes. Trial. The full version of Inure App Manager is available to try for 15 days. All the features of the app will continue to work except a few of the trial features will be disabled after the period has ended. You can unlock the full version by purchasing the Inure Unlocker. https://play.google.com/store/apps/details. It equals app. Simple. Inure Unlocker.
And that's the description of the app. I'll now go back to the home screen.
Home.
I am on the home screen and will navigate my way to the icon of Inure, and let's get started. I'll now tap on the icon.
Inure.
I'll tap.
Verifying license.
I tapped on there and we heard verifying license. Let's start from the top and walk our way down.
Setup.
At the very top left, we heard setup. Basically what this is just a header telling us of what we will be coming across below here. Moving on, here's what we got.
This app does not collect any user data.
Moving on.
Before moving ahead, it is recommended to perform the necessary actions to make sure all the features of the app work.
Okay, moving on.
Mandatory.
And here are some of the things that are mandatory.
Usage access permission. Not granted. Click to allow. This app uses package_usage_stats permission to fetch and calculate the various app usage data available in the device.
I'll come back to this, but let's look at the other things below here.
Grant storage access permission.
Okay, next.
Granted.
Next.
Storage emulated 0.
Moving on.
Storage permission is required and used to perform various app actions such as sharing app, making backup files, or associate with files available in external storage. Optional.
And now we come across the optional. Here's what we got.
App typeface. Change application's font style, English glyphs only.
Next.
Accent colors. Secondary color that appears along with various elements of the app such as icons or touch effects.
I don't care about colors. Next.
Root.
Now we come to the root permissions.
Root mode.
We have the root mode.
Use root methods instead of using native Android APIs and libs to perform some functions. This option is recommended as it can make the user experience more streamlined. Rooted device is required.
And you need a rooted device in order to take advantage of that. Next.
Shizuku.
And now we come across Shizuku. You probably have heard of Shizuku. It's an app that allows you to do things that natively you probably wouldn't be able to do with your Android, and it gives you access to some features of the OS. Moving on.
Shizuku mode.
Next.
Use Shizuku API instead of using native Android APIs and libs to perform some functions. This option is recommended for non-root users. Shizuku access is required. Don't show again.
If you don't want it to show this again, you check that check mark and then to the right.
Start app now.
And now I'll go back to the first one that I talked about that talks about permissions and make sure we enable that.
Usage access permission. Not granted. Click to allow. This app.
We need to tap here.
Apps with usage access. Navigate up. Button. Permit usage access. Off. Switch.
And here you'll just enable, tap enable, and then we're good to go.
On. Usage access allows an app to track what other apps you're using and how often, as well as your carrier, language.
Now, let's go back. And now I'll scroll down to the very bottom. At the bottom, we come across.
Start app now.
We got Start App Now. I'll tap.
Start app now.
Put my finger down.
Inure App Manager. Row 1. In grid, 14 rows, 3 columns.
Now, if you don't have a license, it will give you 15 days of trial. We are now in the main UI of the app, and there are columns and rows. So there are like 3 items on each row. And here's what we got. Starting from the top left.
Apps, row 3, column 1.
We have apps to the right of it.
Terminal, column 2.
To the right of that.
Usage statistics, column 3.
The next column, starting from the left.
Tags, row 6, column 1.
Right.
Terminal commands, column 2.
Now this one only has 2 items on that row. So next column.
Recently installed, row 8, column 1.
Going right.
Recently updated, column 2.
Right.
Most used, column 3.
Next column.
Uninstalled, row 9, column 1.
Next.
Disabled, column 2.
Next.
FOSS, column 3.
And the last single item at the bottom.
APKs, row 11, column 1.
APKs, those are APKs that you've extracted, will be found in this folder. Let's go back to apps though, because that's probably the most important one. I'll now move back to the top and tap on the first one that says apps.
Apps, row 3.
And I'll tap.
Inure, apps, 631 apps, name.
There we are. I am now in the list of apps, and I could just scroll down through these apps and all of that. Let's go find one. I'm going to scroll down at random and find something and pick on it and just see what it says.
Audi Vision Beta, COM. Quark, Audiolab, COM. Hitrolab, Audio Editor, User 71.
Here's Audiolab, something very familiar to a lot of us. Why not look at this one? I'll tap.
Audiolab, out of list.
Upon tapping on Audiolabs, here are the items that we find. I'm starting from the top.
Selected, User 71.9 megabytes, enabled audio, split packages 24 trackers.
We are told it has 24 trackers. I have no clue. Let's go down.
Add a new tag, button, in list.
Next.
App information, out of list.
Next.
Usage statistics.
Next.
Notes.
Notes.
Fold app info menu, button. Detected. Icon,
Next.
down. Menu layout, button.
Next.
Permissions, row 1, column 1, in grid, 5 rows, 3 columns.
Next.
Activities, column 2. Services, column 3. Certificate, row 2, column 1.
In other words, if you tap here on certificate, you'll see when it was issued and when it will expire. Next.
Resources, column 2. Receivers, column 3. Providers, row 3, column 1. Manifest, column 2. Uses features, column 3. Graphics, row 4, column 1. Extras, column 2. Shared libs, column 3. Dex classes, row 5, column. Trackers, column 2.
Here we find the trackers. We'll check to see if the app is tracking anyone. We still have another column below, so let's finish that first.
Fold app info actions, button, out of grid. Menu layout, button. Fold app info missed, button. Menu layout, button. Extract, column 1, in grid, 1 row, 3 columns.
In other words, if you want to extract the APK of this app, you tap on that one. The last item.
Play Store, column 2.
Tapping on that, of course, takes you to the Play Store. Let's move on back to the tracker and see what it says about the tracker.
Trackers, column 2.
Here's trackers, and I'll tap.
Selected, trackers, out of grid. Showing items 1 to 6 of 24.
Putting my finger near the top.
Selected, total 24.
So it says a total of 24. Let's move on down and see what these are.
Trackers search BTN, button. Detected. Icon, search. Image.
Next.
App 11 full screen activity. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM. App 11. AdView. App 11 full screen activity. Activity analytics, profiling, identification, advertisement, in list.
Next.
Max Creative Debugger activity. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM. App 11. Max Creative Debugger displayed ad activity. App 11 Max and full screen ad service. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM.
Next.
Max Debugger activity. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM.
Next.
App Max Debugger Add Unit Detail Activity. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM.
Next.
App Max Debugger Add Unit Waterfalls List Activity. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM.
Next.
App Max Debugger Add Units List Activity. App 11 Max and Spark Labs, COM.
Next.
App Max Debugger CM Networks List Activity, App 11 Max and Spark
Next.
Labs, com. Max Debugger Detail Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs,
Next.
com. Max Debugger Multi-Add Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs,
Next.
com. Max Debugger TCF Consent Statuses List Activity, App 11 Max and Spark
Next.
Labs. Max Debugger TCF Info List Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs, com. App
Next.
Max Debugger TCF String Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs, com.
Next.
Max Debugger Test Live Network Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs, com.
Next.
App Max Debugger Test Mode Network Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs.
Next.
Max Debugger Unified Flow Activity, App 11 Max and Spark Labs, com. App
Well, I could go on and finish the rest of them, but you got the drift. Well, that would be the conclusion of demonstrating Inure or Inure, Inure. I love the app, and I hope you like it too. Thanks for listening. And that's the demonstration of Inure. I hope you find it something that you will be using. I like it.